Hey Defenders, welcome back. In our last video, we set up Sigma rule analysis with Velociraptor and successfully piped those alerts into CoPilot. That enhanced our detection capabilities, but as some of you likely noticed, Velociraptor doesn't allow for us to set field level exclusions within its Sigma implementation. And in today's video, we are going to close that gap. I'll walk you through how to create exclusion rules directly within CoPilot, which will allow us to suppress alerts that match specific Sigma field values like benign parent processes or trusted command line arguments. This will give us more control to reduce alert fatigue and make our detection smarter without having to modify the original Sigma rules. While we do have the capabilities to exclude rules, we can only do so based off of this Sigma title, where we still may want to have Sigma analysis on a particular Sigma rule, but we want to exclude some particular directory or a certain process, such as maybe the wazuh agent itself, maybe our antivirus agent, our RMM tool, whatever it is that is quote unquote trusted, that's running on our machine, that is at the end of the day is triggering events that we do want to capture, but maybe not specifically for that process. So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how we can go about that. So if we jump into CoPilot here, and here I have two Sigma rules that have been triggered. I have this process access sysmon alert and this sysmon configuration modification. And if I jump into the context of this alert, we see that this is actually triggered by the wazuh agent. And I know that the wazuh agent is running on this endpoint. I do want it to run on this endpoint, but I also don't want to exclude this Sigma rule altogether, right? I do still want to have detection on that Sigma rule, but I don't want it to detect on the wazuh agent. So what we can actually go ahead and do is create an exclusion rule. So I'm going to open up a new tab here. And under incident management, if I select sources, you'll notice we have this new exclusion rules tab with a new create exclusion rule button here, which is going to open our new wizard. So here I am going to define how I want to create that exclusion rule. So I'm going to give it a name. And for the name, I'll probably just copy the alert title. This can be whatever it is. This can be whatever name you would like. We can also set any description that we would like, but when it comes to the channel, the title, and the field matches, we'll want these to be specific based on our Sigma alert that triggered. So for channel, I'm going to come back into the rule here, and I see that our alert channel is coming from sysmon. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that value and paste that as my channel. Now for my title, I'm going to copy my alert title. So this is the Sigma rule title. And for the field matches, here's where I'm going to define my particular key name and value that I want to exclude for. So in this case, I don't want to match when the source image is wazuh agent. So I'm going to go ahead and copy source image and paste that as my field name. And then for my value, I'm going to go ahead and copy the whole path here to the wazuh agent.exe. So go ahead and paste that in there. I can select a customer if I want. So if you only want to apply it to a specific customer, you can. Otherwise, if you leave this blank, then this will apply to all customers. And then I'll go ahead and select enabled. I'll go ahead and submit that. And now we have our exclusion rule in place. So now the next time Velociraptor triggers this alert for the wazuh agent, it's still going to try to send it to CoPilot, but CoPilot is going to read from exclusion rule and is not going to create that alert. And if I go ahead and trigger that alert again and go back into CoPilot, here I actually see that I have a match on this exclusion rule, and the last match was at this particular date. So just a nice little way to verify if your exclusion rules are actually matching or not. Now, you may also be asking, well, what about wildcards within my path? What if, for example, if we look at our sysmon alert here, and if I go into my alert context, you see for our configuration, we have this path pointing to sysmonconfig.xml. Let's say, for example, that I wanted to do any directory, whether it was OSEC agent, whether it was wazuh agent, I wanted to do a wildcard on this particular directory. Well, we also have the ability to do regex matching within our exclusion rules. So So if I go ahead and go back into my source, and if I go ahead and create a new exclusion rule, we're going to do the same similar steps. So I'm going to do my title, or sorry, my name, which again, this can be any name. So I'll just say OSEC agent directory. Description, I'll just copy that as the same. The channel, if we go back to our event, our channel is still sysmon. So go ahead and copy that value, paste that in there. Our title is going to be sysmon configuration modification. And our field, so our field name is going to indeed be configuration. And the field match, I'm going to go ahead and copy this value here. But before I paste it, I'm going to go ahead and type out regex followed by a colon here. And I'm going to go ahead and paste in that path that I just copied. And before I set my wildcard, I'm actually going to remove any extra backslashes. So you only need to remove your backslash when we're doing a regex setting here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the extra slashes that we have there. And then, as we mentioned, we want to match on any directory. So instead of just OSEC agent here, I'm going to do a dot, and then I'm going to do a wildcard here. So now, no matter what the directory is, as long as the rest of this path is the same, we're going to have a match. I'm going to go ahead and select enabled, go ahead and hit submit. If we go into our exclusion rules, we do indeed see that our exclusion rule has been set. If I go ahead and try to trigger this alert, all right, we do see in our response, alert excluded by rule, so that's good. If I go ahead and refresh here, I should also see a match on it. That's good. Another way to test too is we can always also change our path, right? So here is where we said OSEC agent. Let me just do a path of please subscribe just to make sure our wildcard is matching as we'd expect. And sure enough, it looks like alert excluded. So that's good. And if we refresh, I should now see 2 hits on this. And sure enough, I do. So this will still allow us to leverage Velociraptor's Sigma rule analysis. But for anything that we may want to exclude, we now have an ability to do so directly within CoPilot, which will help give us more control, reduce alert fatigue, and makes our detections smarter without having to actually modify the original Sigma rules themselves. So that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I appreciate your time, and I will see you in the next one.